I am that. Talks with Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. Chapter 39. By itself, nothing has existence. By itself, nothing has existence. Everything needs its own absence. To be is to be distinguishable. To be here and not there. To be now and not then. To be thus and not otherwise. As light remains itself, regardless of the colors it brings out, so does the real remain real, regardless of conditions in which it is reflected. Questioner. As I listen to you, I find that it is useless to ask you questions. Whatever the question, you invariably turn it upon itself and bring me to the basic fact that I am living in an illusion of my own making, and that reality is inexpressible in words. Words merely add to the confusion, and the only wise course is the silent search within. Maharaj. After all, it is the mind that creates illusion, and it is the mind that gets free of it. Words may aggravate illusion, but words may also help dispel it. There is nothing wrong in repeating the same truth again and again until it becomes reality. A mother's work is not over with the birth of the child. She feeds it day after day, year after year, until it needs her no longer. People need to hear words, until facts speak to them louder than words. Questioner. So, we are children to be fed on words? Maharaj, as long as you give importance to words, you are children. Questioner. All right, then be our mother. Maharaj. Where was the child before it was born? Was it not with the mother? Because it was already with the mother, it could be born. Questioner. Surely, the mother did not carry the child when she was a child herself. Maharaj. Potentiality, she was the mother. Go beyond the illusion of time. Questioner. Your answer is always the same. A kind of clockwork which strikes the same hours again and again. Maharaj. It cannot be helped, just like the one sun is reflected in a billion dewdrops, so is the timeless endlessly repeated. When I repeat, I am, I merely assert and reassert an ever-present fact. You get tired of my words because you do not see the living truth behind them. Contact it, and you will find the full meaning of words and of silence, both. Questioner. You say that the little girl is already the mother of her future child. Potentiality, yes. Actually, no. Maharaj, the potential becomes actual by thinking. The body and its affairs exist in the mind. Questioner. And the mind is consciousness in motion, and consciousness is the conditioned saguna aspect of the self. The unconditioned nirguna is another aspect, and beyond lies the abyss of the absolute paramatha. Maharaj, quite right. You have put it beautifully. Questioner, but these are mere words to me. Hearing and repeating them is not enough. They must be experienced. Maharaj, nothing stops you but preoccupation with the outer, which prevents you from focusing the inner. It cannot be helped. You cannot skip your sadhana. You have to turn away from the world and go within until the inner and the outer merge, and you can go beyond the conditioned, whether inner or outer. Questioner. Surely the conditioned is merely an idea in the conditioned mind. By itself it has no existence. Maharaj. By itself, nothing has existence. Everything needs its own absence. To be is to be distinguishable, to be here and not there, to be now and not then, to be thus and not otherwise. Like water is shaped by the container, so is everything determined by conditions, gunas. As water remains water regardless of the vessels, as light remains itself regardless of the colors it brings out, so does the real remain real, regardless of conditions in which it is reflected. Why keep the reflection only in the focus of consciousness? Why not the real self? Questioner. Consciousness itself is reflection. How can it hold the real? Maharaj. To know that consciousness and its content are but reflections, changeful and transient, is the focusing of the real. The refusal to see the snake in the rope is the necessary condition for seeing the rope. Questioner. Only necessary or also sufficient? Maharaj. One must also know that a rope exists and looks like a snake. Similarly, one must know that the real exists and is of the nature of witness consciousness. Of course, it is beyond the witness, but to enter it, one must first realize the state of pure witnessing. The awareness of conditions brings one to the unconditioned. Questioner. Can the unconditioned be experienced? Maharaj. To know the conditioned as conditioned is all that can be said about the unconditioned. Positive terms are mere hints and are misleading. Questioner. Can we talk of witnessing the real? Maharaj. How can we? We can talk of the unreal, the illusory, the transient, the conditioned. To go beyond, we must pass through total negation of everything as having independent existence. All things depend. Questioner. On what do they depend? Maharaj. On consciousness, and consciousness depends on the witness. Questioner. And the witness depends on the real? Maharaj. The witness is the reflection of the real in all its purity. It depends on the condition of the mind. Where clarity and detachment predominate, the witness consciousness comes into being. It is just like saying that where the water is clear and quiet, the image of the moon appears, or like daylight that appears as sparkle in the diamond. Questioner. Can there be consciousness without the witness? Maharaj. Without the witness, it becomes unconsciousness, just living. The witness is latent in every state of consciousness, just like light in every color. There can be no knowledge without the knower, and no knower without his witness. Not only do you know, but you know that you know. Questioner. If the unconditioned cannot be experienced, for all experience is conditioned, then why talk of it at all? Maharaj. How can there be knowledge of the conditioned without the unconditioned? There must be a source from which all this flows, a foundation on which all stands. Self-realization is primarily the knowledge of one's conditioning and the awareness that the infinite variety of conditions depends on our infinite ability to be conditioned and to give rise to variety. To the conditioned mind, the unconditioned appears as the totality as well as the absence of everything. Neither can be directly experienced, but this does not make it non-existence. Questioner. Is it not a feeling? Maharaj. A feeling too is a state of mind. Just like a healthy body does not call for attention, so is the unconditioned, free from experience. Take the experience of death. The ordinary man is afraid to die because he is afraid of change. The Jnani is not afraid because his mind is dead already. He does not think, I live. He knows there is life. There is no change in it and no death. It appears to be a change in time and space, where there is neither time nor space. How can there be death? The Jnani is already dead to name and shape. How can their loss affect him? The man in the train travels from place to place, but the man off the train goes nowhere, for he does not bound for a destination. He has nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing to become. Those who make plans will be born to carry them out. Those who make no plans need not be born. Questioner: what is the purpose of pain and pleasure? Maharaj: do they exist by themselves or in the mind? Questioner: still they exist. Never mind the mind. Maharaj: pain and pleasure are merely symptoms, the results of wrong knowledge and wrong feeling. A result cannot have a purpose of its own. In God's Questioner: in God's economy, everything must have a purpose. Maharaj: do you know God so that you can talk of Him so freely? What is God to you? A sound, a word on paper, an idea in the mind? Questioner: by His power I am born and kept alive. Maharaj: and suffer and die. Are you glad? Questioner: it may be my own fault that I suffer and die. I was created unto life eternal. Maharaj: why eternal in the future and not in the past? What has a beginning must have an end. Only the beginningless is endless. Questioner: good may be a mere concept, a working theory, a very useful concept, all the same. Maharaj: for this it must be free of inner contradictions, which is not the case. Why not work on the theory that you are your own creation and creator? At least there will be no external God to battle with. Questioner: the world is so rich and complex. How could I create it? Maharaj: do you know yourself enough to know what you can do and what you cannot? You do not know your own powers. You never investigated. Begin with yourself now. Questioner: everybody believes in God. Maharaj: to me, you are your own God. But if you think otherwise, think to the end. If there be God, then all is God's, and all is for the best. Welcome all that comes with a glad and thankful heart, and love all creatures. This too will take you to yourself. I am that. Talks with Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. Chapter 40. Only the self is real. You imagine that without cause there can be no happiness. To me, dependence on anything for happiness is utter misery. Pleasure and pain have causes, while my state is my own, totally uncaused, independent, unassailable. Maharaj: the world is but a show, glittering and empty. It is and yet is not. It is there as long as I want to see it and take part in it. When I cease caring, it dissolves. It has no cause and serves no purpose. It just happens when we are absent-minded. It appears exactly as it looks, but there is no depth in it or meaning. Only the onlooker is real, whether you call him the self or Atma. To the self, the world is but a colorful show which he enjoys as long as it lasts, and forgets when it's over. Whatever happens on the stage makes him shudder in terror or roll with laughter. Yet all the time he is aware that it is but a show. Without desire or fear, he enjoys it as it happens. Questioner. The person immersed in the world has a life of many flavors. He weeps and he laughs, loves and hates, desires and fears, suffers and rejoices. The desireless and fearless Jnani, what life has he? Is he not left high and dry in his aloofness? Maharaj. His state is not so desolate. It tastes of the pure, uncaused, undiluted bliss. He is happy and fully aware that happiness is his very nature, and that he need not do anything nor strive for anything to secure it. It follows him, more real than the body, nearer than the mind itself. You imagine that without cause there can be no happiness. To me, dependence on anything for happiness is utter misery. Pleasure and pain have causes, while my state is my own, totally uncaused, independent, and unassailable. Questioner. Like a play on the stage? Maharaj. The play was written, planned, and rehearsed. The world just sprouts into being without nothing. Let me say that again. The world just sprouts into being out of nothing and returns to nothing. Questioner. Is there no creator? Was not the world in the mind of Brahma before it was created? Maharaj. As long as you are outside of my state, you will have creators, preservers, and destroyers. But once with me, you will know the self only and see yourself in all. Questioner. You function nevertheless? Maharaj. When you are giddy, you see the world running in circles around you, obsessed with the idea of means and end, of work and purpose. You see me apparently functioning. In reality, I only look. Whatever is done on the stage. Joy and sorrow, life and death, they are all real to the man in bondage. To me, they are all in the show, as unreal as the show itself. I may perceive the world just like you, but you believe yourself to be in it, while I see it as an iridescent drop in the vast expanse of consciousness. Questioner. We are all getting old. Old age is not pleasant. All aches and pains, weakness, and the approaching end. How does a Jnani feel as an old man? How does his inner self look at his own senility? Maharaj. As he gets older, he grows more and more happy and peaceful. After all, he is going home. Like a traveler nearing his destination and collecting his luggage, he leaves the train without regret. Questioner. Surely there is a contradiction. We are told the Jnani is beyond all change. His happiness neither grows nor wanes. How can he grow happier because of being old? And that in spite of physical weakness and so on. Maharaj. There is no contradiction. The wheel of destiny is coming to its end. The mind is happy. The mist of bodily existence is lifting. The burden of the body is growing less from day to day. Questioner. Let us say the Jnani is ill. He has caught some flu and every joint aches and burns. What is his state of mind? Maharaj. Every sensation is contemplated in perfect equanimity. There is no desire for it or refusal. It is as it is, and he looks at it with a smile of affectionate detachment. Questioner. He may be detached from his own suffering, but it is still there. Maharaj. It is there, but it does not matter. Whatever state I am in, I see it as a state of mind to be accepted as it is. Questioner. Pain is pain. You experience it all the same. Maharaj. He who experiences the body experiences its pains and pleasures. I am neither the body nor the experiencer of the body. Questioner. Let us say you are 25 years old. Your marriage is arranged and performed, and the household duties crowd upon you. How would you feel? Maharaj. Just as I feel now, you keep on insisting that my inner state is molded by outer events. It is just not so. Whatever happens, I remain. At the root of my being is pure awareness, a speck of intense light. This speck, by its very nature, radiates and creates pictures in space and events in time, effortlessly and spontaneously. As long as it is merely aware, there is no problem. But when the discriminative mind comes into being and creates distinctions, pleasure and pain arise. During sleep, the mind is in abeyance, and so are pain and pleasure. The process of creation continues, but no notice is taken. The mind is the form of consciousness, and consciousness is an aspect of life. Life creates everything, but the Supreme is beyond all. Questioner. The Supreme is the Master and consciousness his servant. Maharaj. The Master is in consciousness, not beyond it. In terms of consciousness, the Supreme is creation and dissolution, concretion and abstraction, the focal and the universal. It is also neither. Words do not reach there, nor mine. Questioner. The Jnani seems to be a very lonely being, all by himself. Maharaj. He is alone, but he is all. He is not even a being. He is the beingness of all beings. Not even that. No words apply. He is what he is, the ground from which all grows. Questioner. Are you not afraid to die? Maharaj. I shall tell you how my guru's guru died. After announcing that his end was nearing, he stopped eating. Without changing the routine of his daily life, on the 11th day at prayer time, he was singing and clapping vigorously and suddenly died. Just like that, between two movements, like a blown out candle. Everybody dies as he lives. I'm not afraid of death because I'm not afraid of life. I live a happy life and shall die a happy death. Misery is to be born, not to die. All depends on how you look at it. Questioner. There can be no evidence of your state. All I know about it is what you say. All I see is a very interesting old man. Maharaj, you are the interesting old man, not me. I was never born. How can I grow old? What I appear to be to you exists only in your mind. I am not concerned with it. Questioner, even as a dream, you are the most unusual dream. Maharaj, I am a dream that can wake you up. You will have the proof of it in your very waking up. Questioner, imagine that the news reaches you that I have died. Somebody tells you, you know so and so, he died. What would be your reaction? Maharaj, I would be very happy to have you back home. Really glad to see you out of this foolishness. Questioner, which foolishness? Maharaj, of thinking that you were born and will die, that you are a body displaying a mind and all such nonsense. In my world, nobody is born and nobody dies. Some people go on a journey and come back. Some never leave. What difference does it make since they travel in dreamlands, each wrapped up in his own dream? Only the waking up is important. It is enough to know the I am as reality and also love. Questioner, my approach is not so absolute, hence my question. Throughout the West, people are in search of something real. They turn to science, which tells them a lot about matter, a little about the mind, and nothing about the nature and purpose of consciousness. To them, reality is objective, outside, and the observable and describable, directly or by inference. About the subjective aspect of reality, they know nothing. It is extremely important to let them know that there is reality and it is to be found in the freedom of consciousness from matter and its limitations and distortions. Most of the people in the world just do not know that there is reality which can be found and experienced in consciousness. It seems very important that they should hear the good news from somebody who has actually experienced it. Such witnesses have always existed, and their testimony is precious. Maharaj, of course, the gospel of self-realization, once heard, will never be forgotten. Like a seed left in the ground, it will wait for the right season and sprout and grow into a mighty tree.